Good morning, folks. I might as well say good evening. You're not going to see this till 8 o'clock tonight. Well, folks, stick with me here. I think you're going to have, some of you could possibly know about this. I was not aware of it whatsoever, but the information we're going to share tonight is something that once again proves the involvement of Big Pharma. And those of you that haven't heard about this, you may know about it. You may not know the extent of it if you've heard about it, but just make sure that you let people know about it, because it's a continuation of how we're being misled. And they're going to say, oh, it wasn't misled, it was public knowledge. But you have to dig for it with more than a shovel. It's like having to find this information out. You about got to have a backhoe and dig through stuff to figure out how to get to it to find out about it. And folks, if you don't think that the Foxtrot Delta Alpha, those of you folks that are new, I'm going to be speaking in the phonetic alphabet quite a bit tonight, because I'm thinking what I'm going to say might hit some nerves on some people that'll not want this video out there. So folks, if you're not familiar with it, go ahead and look it up. It's the phonetic alphabet. You may have to watch this video twice if you're new. For you veterans out there that's watched the channel for a while, you're familiar with it. So we're talking about Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta Echo Foxtrot Golf Hotel language, folks. Take the first letter out of that phonetic alphabet. You may want to get a pencil and paper just in case. Well, folks, I had no idea this was going on, and it further depletes my any kind. Well, I ain't had no respect for our government for quite some time, but this drops it down another notch. I mean, just puts it on down into from the basement down into the septic tank. And then tomorrow night, I'm gonna put some more information out there on you. It's gonna push the respect of the government down into you, out into your field lines outside the septic tank, your drain lines out in the yard, with some information that I've got. And I'm gonna tell you, folks, it ain't good. It ain't good. So stick with us tonight. I appreciate you joining us, and we're gonna get the information to you. Well, hello, Ricky. What are you doing out here this early? Huh? You're up awful early. Could you not get Rudy off of the roost? You know, he's staying in there where it's warm. It's cold this morning. And you're out here early. Where's Sammy at? You can't bring Sammy out, will you? Huh? I put you some corn in there. You know, y'all's favorite little bit of corn. All right, buddy. I'll see you this evening. Well, folks, you're about to be disappointed once again by our fabulous government. This time we're dealing with wildlife. The Wildlife Services works cooperatively with the local, your state, and your federal agencies and governments, and also along with universities and other partners that they deem necessary to reduce wildlife rabies. And so we want to talk a little bit about that. Now, they say the rabies is a deadly viral disease that affects the nervous system of mammals, and we knew that. Several different variants of the rabies virus exist in the United States. Each variant is spread predominantly by one wildlife species, but all variants are capable of infecting the animals. which includes the mammals, including the humans. Raccoons and skunks account for the most reported cases, but bats, foxes, coyotes are also among the commonly infected wildlife species. And it wouldn't surprise me if in the fowls it would be the crows and possibly the buzzards getting infected as well, and anything that eats stuff dead like the old possum. Now, people are most frequently exposed to the rabies virus through their pets. The dogs and cats become infected by means of exposures to rabid wildlife. And fortunately, the rabies can be prevented through a use of vaccines for humans, pets, livestock, and wildlife. By combining the expertise of the human health care providers, veterinarians, and wildlife professionals, rabies management programs can improve the health and well-being of all species that could be possibly impacted by this disease. And such partnerships make the management of rabies a premier example of One Health approach. Now, this tells you right here with that last section, that last sentence in this here article says, partnerships make the management of rabies the premier example of One Health approach. Here, folks, is where your big pharma is involved heavily in the so-called control of wildlife rabies. Don't have any problem with that, but it's the way it's been done that's going to alarm you. In the United States, 90% of reported rabies cases occur in the wildlife, and the species that are often susceptible, such as the raccoons, they thrive in many environments, maintain rabies virus either at low levels, which is endemic rabies, or spread the virus quickly during rabid outbreaks, and they call this epizootics. The benefits of vaccinating the wildlife, they say, is reduced human exposure. It reduces the pet-related vaccination, quarantine, and euthanasia. It reduces the burden on state services for animal diagnostic tests, and it reduces livestock losses. Now, humans can receive pre- or post-exposure vaccines, while dogs and cats typically receive a rabies shot annually, every 3 years. The rabies vaccination of livestock occurs in areas with a high incidence of wildlife rabies during an outbreak. Let me get a little sip of coffee. It's awful cold this morning. It's sitting at 25. Now, here's what's going to make you very alarmed, folks. Since 1995, APHIS, Wildlife Services Program, has been working cooperatively with local, state, and federal governments and universities and other partners to reduce rabies in wildlife. Oral rabies vaccine baits are distributed to wildlife in targeted areas. The eligible bait consists of a sachet or a plastic packet containing the Arboro V-RG vaccine. To make the bait attractive to wildlife, the sachets containing the vaccine are sprinkled with a fish meal coating or encased in a hard fish meal polymer block about the size of a small matchbox. Each year, wildlife services and cooperatives distribute about 6.5 million baits in selected states to create a zone where raccoon rabies can be contained. This program is considered critical to national rabies prevention in all 48 states. While the vaccination of raccoons is the largest of Wildlife Services' effort, the program has also been involved in cooperative oral rabies vaccine operation in Texas that targets canine rabies in coyotes and a unique variant of the disease in the gray fox. Now, folks, here is the kicker. They talk about the successes. They say this is how they're gonna sell this, folks. This is how they're gonna sell it. Just stay with me here. I forgot to get my phone holder. An economic evaluation of rabies prevention. This is where they're touting their successes. The data indicates that for every $1 they spend on a coyote oral rabies vaccine program in Texas, between $4 and $13 are saved. The domestic dog to coyote variant rabies was successfully eliminated from the United States in 2008 as a result of an oral rabies vaccine baiting program in Texas, proving wildlife can successfully eliminate terrestrial rabies. And they go on to talk about the economic benefits of it, that approximately 5,000 people were administered post-exposure, annually resulting in $200 million in health care savings, and they're talking about that. Well, here's the kicker, folks. When you get on down in there to it, you find out that this thing being designed to immunize wildlife is the way that they are doing this. We're going to stop right here just for a second and let me get my phone readjusted, and we're going to continue. Okay, folks, the kicker to this thing is, we've talked about how they fix it. They put it in fish meal. It's about the size of a matchbox. They also take and give it a taste of marshmallow flavor too, to entice wildlife to eat it. Now, here's how they get it dispersed, folks. They're dropping it from aircraft. Did you hear me? You know, we see all this stuff going overhead and being sprayed out. Well, they're literally dropping these sachets right directly in certain areas. They're just flying over in a plane and dropping them, just covering the area. Well, then you get into a situation where, what if my pet gets a hold of it? Or what if you find one of these? They're telling in the article here, if you find one, you need to put on gloves and put it in a thicket area. Get it away or out of your yard, away from pets and other things that could get a hold of it like that. But then they go on to say, but if your pet ingests one, it'll be okay because they're harmless. But they don't want your pet to eat it, but they do say it's harmless unless the pet eats several of them. And then they may have some side effects like upset stomach, diarrhea, possibly vomiting, and stuff like that. But folks, they just throw it out of an aircraft. Now that's the first alarm right there. The second alarm is, folks, how this stuff's made by your big pharma group, who is involved once again in a way to get money off the federal government. But here's what the kicker is, folks. Wildlife, such as, they drop this out in areas where there's a lot of wildlife. Deer may get a hold of it. Your raccoons, of course, your skunks, your fox, your coyote. Wild hogs possibly get a hold of this. Elk, caribou, moose, possibly getting a hold of some of this stuff if they're putting it out everywhere. Here's the concern, folks, and that would be Motel Romeo November Alpha. Did you get that? Motel Romeo November Alpha is your vaccine that is in these sachets that they're dropping out. Folks, they're replaying Charlie Oscar Victor Indigo Delta -19er again. But this time, they're putting it in our wildlife, changing the DNA possibly of our wildlife. Why do they want to mess with our wildlife? And then we turn around, folks, and we're possibly consuming this wildlife. You know, squirrel may eat it. You may hunt squirrels. Squirrel dumplings is good, folks. Coons, they're good to eat. Coon kebabs. I don't know if you ever had them. I've had them. Deer. But folks, they putting the Motel Romeo November Alpha in this stuff as a vaccine, just like they did in Charlie Oscar Victor Indigo Delta -19er back in the scam that they created, the demic. And it was all designed for Big Pharma to get rich. But they're toying with the DNA of the wildlife, and then we're going to turn around and consume it. Folks, you remember maybe a month or so back, I talked with you a little bit about they were wanting to start spraying, and they had figured out a way to spray the vegetables with Motel Romeo November Alpha. They could put it directly on stuff that wasn't labeled, like cabbage, lettuce, kale, and things like that. You'd never know it because it's not labeled in the store, yet they could come through and spray it. Mr. Microsoft, Golf Alpha Tango Echo Sierra, with a B in front of it, Bravo in front of that, Bravo dot, a Golf Alpha Tango Echo Sierra, Mr. Microsoft has developed that stuff that he can spray on apples and things like that, called Appeal, that allows a shelf life to be extended considerably on your fruits and vegetables, and you don't know you're eating it. Some of your grocery stores have it placed on their stuff before they buy it, and it's not even labeled. It's a trade secret, but he says it's all natural, but he won't share what's in it. He claims it's plant derived. If it was so safe, why would you not share it? If you can put a patent on it and copyright it and it's that safe, why would you not share it? And it's because, folks, there's probably something in it that's not good for us. So you don't want to get any of these vegetables. You need to start watching, folks, find out if the store you shops at uses this Appeal coating on their fruits and vegetables that you're getting ready to consume. Folks, you can't trust the government with anything. Now we find out they're just flying aircraft over, and the reason this was picked up, I found it on the USDA website, where they're getting ready to target western North Carolina with a bait drop. Central and western North Carolina with bait drops. And they're telling, if you find one of these and it's in your yard or driveway, move it with your glove or whatever. But they're not putting it out there on mainstream media. This was hidden down into the U.S. I had to do a Google search on it to find out about airdropping oral rabies vaccines to find this information out. And then in the articles, they never mentioned that it was Motel Romeo November Alpha. It was buried in another thing. I had to find out what the ingredients were to find out how it was made, manufactured and stuff, but it didn't list the manufacturers. But I'm sure Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson are all involved in it. That's all they are. They're gonna get the animals sick now by toying with this stuff that needs to be outlawed. Well, folks, I hope that's got you stirred up. We need to start just absolutely filling these senators and congressmen of our state's office phone numbers in Washington, D.C. up. Just keep the phone lines jammed with all this information that we're trying to get out here to you. A lot of folks in Western North Carolina are relying on wildlife to survive because of what's happened. You know, they're able to shoot a deer and feed their family. But now we're finding out, hey, they getting ready to drop or have dropped already. There wasn't no date on this. Bait out of these little satchel matchbox packets with Motel Romeo November Alpha in the vaccine for these animals. How do I know they ain't consumed it? That I'm getting ready to eat? You don't know. But they're relying heavily on wildlife, folks, just to survive, because a deer can feed a family for quite a while. A lot of uses. You get tenderloin, you get cube steak out of it, you can make hamburger out of it, you can make beef jerky out of it, all kinds of things. Beef stew, all kinds of ways to fix it. Mix it with some vegetables, you know. That makes a lot of meals right there at no cost. You can grow all your vegetables right in the garden, can them up. Get you a deer, you can even can the deer meat. But now, what have they done to it? It's a good question, ain't it, folks? Don't this make you mad enough to call your congressman and your senator to have a stop put to this? What if this stuff gets dropped in the water? And you know it will. How does it affect the fish? Fish we might be eating, crappie, shell cracker, bass, catfish. How does that affect that? They just flying a plane over and just dumping out these sachets, or using a helicopter, either one. You know, folks, they're toying with the good Lord's creation here. And they're using this Motel Romeo November Alpha to do it. And they say it only lasts a year. So what's that tell you about your Charlie Oscar Victor Indigo Delta -19er that some of you folks may have took back in 2020 in the scamdemic? You reckon this of no use to you now? You hope it ain't, after you see what it done to some people. Well, folks, we're going to leave it at that. Tomorrow night, we got some more alarming news coming for you. Want you to stay tuned. Folks, check out our new website. We're going to do a video on it here for too long. www.operationmountainrelief.com, and you can check us out. But we're going to do a video about it, talk about it here one night this week. We hope you folks have a blessed day. Join us tomorrow night for another big eye-opener that's going to even shock you just as much or more than what you found out tonight. Have a blessed day. Folks, it's dark. I don't have my light on. Got my phone in my phone holder here in the car, heading down the road for work. But just think about this, folks. With them airdropping this stuff, not only does it get into your pets and possibly in your pets, falling into your backyard and everything else. This drop is in a zone of Abingdon, Virginia, which covers western North Carolina and all the way down to the Georgia line, and areas of east into central North Carolina. But think about this, folks. In those drops are areas where you have domestic livestock, like your goats and your cattle, your pigs, chickens, people's backyard hobby farms and things could have some of these, I don't know if it's pronounced sachets or sachets, dropped into those locations, which now becomes an issue with your domestic food that you may be raising on your farm. Folks, this is quite alarming. Not the fact that they're trying to keep the rabies down, but how they're using it with Motel Romeo November Alpha mixed into the vaccine so that they can make it, and they claim more efficient and probably cheaper, because it's all about the money. It's not anything considering what it could possibly do, because folks, they've done absolutely no test on this at all, no research. They've just thrown it together and done it, and probably using the same setup as they used in Charlie Oscar Victor Indigo Delta -19er in an emergency situation, and classified it as that. And they may not even have to, being it's for wildlife purposes. But folks, they're contaminating their wildlife and their fish, and possibly our domestic cattle and pigs and poultry and things like that. And who knows whatever else gets a hold of this stuff. Folks, I think it's time to light up the phone lines in Washington, D.C. and your state government for allowing this to happen using Motel Romeo November Alpha vaccines.